Hello, I am Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. Hello, how are you today? So, today I want to talk about something that happens to most people who have been with a narcissist, and that is we often feel silenced. Have you ever noticed or talked to other survivors or felt in yourself the way that after abuse or when during abuse or when you are newly discarded or have left a narcissist, you feel you have no voice and you have no ability to speak up for yourself, to say things that are on your mind. You don't even know what's on your mind. How do they do that? What do they do to make us feel so silenced? So let's talk about that. Hello, Hannah and Life's Revival. So let's talk about that. Because I think most people have had the experience of feeling completely silenced by a narcissistic person. Angela is saying, I don't even know where to start. Exactly. And Belle, hello. I hope you are well too. And I'm glad that you're here. Excellent. Okay, so silenced. So one thing about, well, we know that a narcissist creates a world that is the way they need the world to be, right? They don't live in a relationship with someone else where it's reciprocal. So if you think about it from that standpoint, there is no voice. There's only the narcissist voice, right? So how do they create a world that silences you down so much that you don't actually, even coming out of it afterwards, feel like you have your own voice or your ability to speak what's on your mind or even know what's on your mind? So here we go. Life's Revival said, I've been ordered to keep my mouth shut. And that is a good point. So we'll get to that part too. So one thing they do is through the gaslighting, it takes away your voice. When someone is gaslighting you and they are confusing facts and twisting words and making you feel completely crazy within a conversation, you've lost the point of the conversation. Therefore, anything you have felt, anything you needed to say, any discussion you were trying to have is nullified and there is no ability to be heard. So gaslighting is a highly effective tool to shut someone up. It shuts down the topic. Basically, there's a lot of times we'll talk about different points of it, but in general, gaslighting is effective to shut you down and to stop you from speaking. When you do that enough to someone, the person goes into any discussion where you know how you may not know what gaslighting is yet. You may totally know what it is, but you may not even know, but you know what it means to have a debate or a conversation or an argument with a narcissist, with your toxic partner. You know what it feels like. And you know that if you say anything, there's going to be a reaction. And so it silences you before you even start. You see, with enough gaslighting, the pattern of discussion, the pattern of argument, the pattern of debate, whatever you want to call it, is a toxic pattern that silences you from the get-go. So there's that. Defensive jerks, tired of being apologetic and always wrong and ghosted. Yeah. Hello, Lori. That's what Angela had said. Belle is saying, yes, absolutely. I'm literally interrupted after a syllable gets out. I have no voice. I too have been ordered. It's exceedingly invalidating. No dignity, no respect. Heart pounds. How are you ordered? What words are you told? I was told you're being rude and disrespectful. Don't speak that way. For things like trying to explain my stance, trying to politely explain something, trying to get my point across, or bring the topic. Here's the worst one: bringing the topic back to the point of the conversation. No. That's when the silencing starts, right? That's when the shutdown and being told, literally, you're rude and disrespectful. I won't listen to this. They shut you down. So they shut you down hard because they can't be accountable to anything that's real, right? Hannah is saying, mine would just yell over me. I eventually gave up trying to express my discomfort with things, and he didn't did or didn't do. Right, yelling over you. They shut you down. That's like like a steamroller, right? They shut you down through talking louder than you, through yelling at you, before you even have a chance to express yourself. So it can be the most minute thing you're trying to express, and out comes the yelling over you, the talking through you, the interruptions. Oh, but just try to continue talking, and you're told you interrupt, which shuts you down some more, right? So, hi Vicky, you keep working out and listen. Good for you. So another thing that they do is the word salad, which goes with the gaslighting. So if enough words come out of their mouth that make no sense in relation to the topic, it throws the topic, it derails the topic. So a more covert narcissist may never call you a name, may never yell at you, may never deliberately even interrupt you, but boy, can they word salad. And can they say things that don't make any sense or have any relevance to the topic? Or the way they might word salad is to get on a tangential point and go with it, so they'll pull a thread from the conversation that's sort of somewhat related, take it on that direction, and go until the whole conversation's about what they are making it be about versus what it needs to be about. All of this is to avoid the simplest things. Sometimes it's ridiculous, but here we go. Bella's saying the most obscene words you can imagine. The C word gets repeated over and over, and I'm told I'm nothing but mentally ill. B word, vile and disgusting. Right. That's awful. Such abusive, harsh horribleness that you have to live with there. Yeah, interrupting mine would launch, as Angela said. They do, absolutely. You can see it's not just one person. This is however many of you in here repeating the same things. They said they send in flying monkeys to tell me not to talk or they'll kill me. Oh my gosh. Right? So even after the fact, they're still sending people in to silence you. It's ridiculous. Okay. It's awful, really. Grace says, I accidentally interrupted a date while we were having a fun conversation. He stood over me and sternly told me, can I please finish what I was saying? This happened twice. I won't see him again. Oh my gosh. Red flag like crazy. Wow. Thank goodness they show it early. That's all I can say is those who don't, that show it early, it's a blessing. What it means is, Grace, that you can trust yourself to catch these things, at least on some level, right? And to walk away. Trusting yourself to walk away is important. So that's excellent. Not excellent it happened, but excellent you took care of it. I got my heart broken yesterday. The guy I had been seeing was actually still married. Oh, no, Lori, I'm sorry. Can't even with the dating. Let's do a whole one on dating. Oh, boy. We'll have to plan it so that those who will be triggered can just do something else for the hour because it's a weird world out there. And I would love to just go into it because it's very weird. Okay. Let me close Facebook. It's making noise. Sorry. I meant to do that. Oh boy. How do I get over here? So somebody's asking me something here. They said, Lise, my heart is starting to pound just talking about it right now. Why? Why is your heart pounding? Because we're talking about a highly triggering thing that's still going on in your life. So take some deep breaths. And this is unfortunately a thing you can only do so much about when you're in it, right? And even coming out of it, it's a difficult topic. So it makes sense that your heart would be pounding. Seek some solace in the validation that this happens. This is a part of narcissistic abuse, and it is it's a very unpleasant part. It actually makes me feel, even talking about it now from a distance, it makes me have a knot in my stomach thinking about what you're going through, what we've all lived through, what I've experienced, that because it's a place where we can't express ourselves. And so anxiety kicks in. And if you remember what we were talking about with anxiety the other day, if you are frozen in a situation where you can't get out of, the other parts of anxiety that it kicks in. So the feeling of fleeing is probably what you're feeling, right? So take some breaths, love. And if it's too triggering, come back, I'll finish this up and we can talk about something else after, or come back tomorrow. Really, if it's too triggering, it's okay. But if it helps you to feel validated, then we'll keep going. Well, we're going to keep going, but if it helps you to feel validated, you know what I'm saying? Okay. You live in constant fear. It's terrible. The silencing is terrible. That's why it feels so bad. It feels bad for anyone. It's a triggering topic. It really is. It's important to hear it though, because you're not alone in experiencing it. And it's for anyone who is trying to discover about narcissism, or like who Grace pointed out, someone you're newly meeting, someone you're dating, a friend, whatever, you can catch it. If someone's not listening to you and they're not letting you speak, or if they are, wait a minute, let me get to that. If they're not letting you speak, if they're not letting you, if they're silencing you in any way, bye, right? Oh, you want to talk. Okay, you must face these things. Well, keep breathing and keep checking in. Okay, Belle? And listen to the different ways that you're silenced. Maybe it helps to hear. I have 17 ways just that I wrote down in the 20 minutes before coming on here. 15 minutes, just briefly. I just wrote down 17 ways that they silence you. So it's a big topic, right? So we were on word salad. Okay, so let's keep going. One thing that they can do, this is an interesting one to me that I thought of yesterday talking to somebody about being listened to and how great it is to have someone listen to you and really, really hear you. And then I thought, wait a minute, the narcissists, they listen to us often. They listen to us. Why? Because they're grooming and they're gathering information. That's not to say everyone that listens is toxic. What they do and what you watch for is them using what they've gained from you, the information against you. So it takes time, of course, but they listen to get information, and that shuts you down, because then the next time you want to share something with them, and this happens especially in family narcissism, when the narcissist is a parent or a family member that you turn to share information with. You know, you might want to go to mom and tell her this, but mom's a narcissist. So when you tell her the good things and they listen, they may sit quiet and they may listen, but then that comes back to bite you later. And you realize that you need to not talk. So it silences you in the situation and it shuts you down. Not saying anything to them is actually louder and more it keeps you from being silenced by not telling a narcissist your intimate details. Does that make sense? And if you're living with one in particular, don't give them your good. Don't give them the good stuff. Don't give them any information that they don't need to have to function on a daily basis, good or bad, because it can come back to bite you. And then it silences you because you feel like you should never have said anything. It causes shame, and shaming is a big way they silence us. Shaming is huge. So, hello, MD. Oh, it's Mara. Hello, Mara. Mora or Mara? Did I say it right? Mara? Mara. Okay. I get the names wrong. I'm sorry. Let's see. Okay. So let's keep going. So they silence us through, well, you guys have said it already with the harsh words, the literally telling you to shut up. Ever had a hand held over your mouth? I have, because the words I was saying weren't words that the person wanted to hear coming out my mouth, and they weren't mean words. I'm telling you, yeah. You know, it's not like there was a stream of abuse coming out of my mouth. It was just words that weren't wanted to be heard, because their words they wanted to speak what they wanted to say. And so out comes the hand over the mouth. Ever have that happen? If not, they'll often do it with words by telling you to shut up, calling you names, criticizing you. Sometimes silent treatment is how they silence you. They'll just clam up. They'll stonewall you with a couple grunting, mean, aggressive statements, and then silence. So silence silences you. Because what can you say? All you can do when someone's doing the silent, well, what we tend to do is fun. And we've totally dropped the topic and stopped talking about what we need to say. So we're silenced. Grace has had the hand over the mouth. Yep. Life survival, back to what we were talking about, how they listen. They listen to find out what you know about what they've done. They do that too. And again, it's silencing you because you don't There is no conversation. It's only information gleaning. And Vicky's had the hand over the mouth and you bit him. Oh, I think I had my teeth on once and was told, don't you ever bite me. And it got scary. So didn't bite, but the temptation, the feeling of that is horrible. MD's saying I have to really practice letting go this weekend. My daughter's dad had no overnights, but was awarded every other Saturday, including, oh, I'm sorry. It's so hard when that changes. And set up some self-care for yourself for that weekend. Start now. Start thinking of things that you can do for yourself to set up your evenings, especially your time, so that you're not continually thinking about things that upset you. Does that make sense? Hi, fashion family. Mine uses, I told you I was going to do this, whatever the thing is, and you said you were okay with it when I'm absolutely sure we never discussed it. That's another form of gaslighting, isn't it? Absolutely. And that's one way gaslighting can silence you, because what can you say to that? I forgot. I don't remember. Anything you can say is in defense of yourself, which we know what happens then. More gaslighting. So mine gets in my face and spits. Or I get the complete silent treatment. It's awful. Right. Okay. All right. I'm going to come back to you, MD, here a bit. I'm going to do a little bit more on this. And please remind me if you have a question about it or need to talk more after we do a little bit more of this, because if I don't scroll back, I miss it. Hi, Mo Cowboy. And smear campaign. Let's do that. Smear campaign. I'm going all out of order, so I'm going to forget things. Smear campaign. That's one way they silence you, isn't it? What can you say to a smear campaign? We know what to say. If you know me, you know the truth. That's all you can say. You can't go around defending yourself with a smear campaign, because it makes you look like the one who's got something to hide, right? It's a very difficult situation, and they absolutely silence you in your life with a smear campaign. So there's that. Name calling, we get that. And so the evading and avoiding the topic altogether. They'll do that in conversation. So you start talking about something and they will completely evade it. It's, again, another form of gaslighting. Another gaslighting way they might is twisting your words, right? Specifically misrepresenting your intentions and twisting your words, which shuts you down, right? It's all about shutting you down and keeping things their way. I used to get a slap if I was questioned. I was just in shock. I'd get silent treatment. Yes. Hi, Suzanne. Yep. It's awful, right? All right. I can't read my writing here. Oh, yes, I can. I can do it. Another thing is along the lines of evading is they might busy themselves while you're talking. They might insist you listen to them. And as soon as you reply, sure, I'll listen to you. I'm listening. As soon as you reply and you start talking, they're looking around and they're and then talking to the dog, and they're playing with their phone, and they're not paying any attention to you. So of course that silences you. It shuts you down, right? So another thing, they might speak in generalizations with you, right? You might be having a conversation and say, you always talk about that. You always bring that up. This is always, you do this. You're always that. You're so sensitive. You're way too sensitive. These generalizations and blanket statements are a way that they silence you, and they do not let you have a conversation. One of the most frustrating parts for a lot of us is that if we know that if we could just have a rational conversation about the topic, it would be resolved in 5 minutes. But the narcissist has to run these things through, usually for hours and sometimes days, right? Just because they don't want to talk about a topic that could be resolved in 5 minutes. Almost always, right? It's big topics too that can't be, but Often it's these tiny things that are just, and you have no voice, right? There's no voice within the relationship. It starts to wear on you and you begin to have no voice outside the relationship. So, what are you guys saying here? My daughter's dad tried to silence me by trying to trick me into not showing up for our hearing. Oh, yeah. This is MD. He withdrew his signature the day we signed, but failed to tell me. Suzanne wants to smash his phone. So rude, right? When they do that. Okay. He'd be mean to my dog if I didn't behave. Oh my gosh. Right? Okay. Hi, Fancy. Mine would tell me the minutia about his day. Oh, there's a word salad way of doing it, right? It's like filibuster, like blasting you with as much information as they can. And if I tried to tell him one thing about mine, he'd interrupt me by saying, just get to the point. Don't tell me the rest. Oh my gosh. Yes. I quit telling him anything. They want us to be an emotional dumpster. They want to take all their feelings, hurts, experiences. They want to feel like they have someone, but they don't want to be someone for someone else. And they want to dump it all on you. So you get to hold it for them and they can go off on their merry way, but they don't want to hear anything about your life or your day. Or if they do, it's to get information, or to look like they're listening. Yep. Okay. It's awful. It's awful. All right. This is an icky topic. I don't like it. I don't like the silencing. Whoa, got blurry. I got to stop doing that. Okay. Now he gaslights when I bring it up and says, why do you keep dwelling on the past? Why can't we just see eye to eye? Oh, because there is no eye to eye. There's only your way, narcissist, right? It's not like you never did anything. Like he has no sense of the gravity of it. He doesn't care is all. Lise, your talks and advice are doing me so much good. My stress level has gone down. Yay, so much. And I no longer feel like it's all my fault. Thank you. You're welcome, Fashion Family. That's good. So what else about being silenced, you guys? Another way is the jokes, sarcasm, right? Making jokes and sarcastic and then telling you you're too sensitive if you react to it. Jokes at your expense. You might be, this one I would get a lot. You might be doing something kind of seriously, trying to have a conversation, trying to, I don't know, it could be anything little. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Something you're doing, and then you want to tell them something. Oh, blah, 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 because you think you're in a normal relationship and you say, oh, this happened, such and such, and they make a joke about it. And it completely shuts down what you're trying to say, turns it all into some ridiculous joke that they think is funny, which isn't funny, just so they don't have to talk about the thing you're trying to talk about. It's not relating. It's really, really toxic and rude. It's like humor at someone else's expense, ill-timed, makes you feel like you have no one, right? You have no one to listen to you. All you are the laughing stock of this thing. You aren't trying to be funny. You're just trying to tell them something, and there's a joke. It's like nothing can be taken seriously. That's when I realized I was with Peter Pan and Wendy, and I was Wendy, and Wendy wasn't gonna last long because what he really wanted was a Tinkerbell, right? So, okay, have at it. Threatening to leave, bags in hand. Oh yeah, that's a good one, Angela. Threatening, I'm yelling, sorry. Threatening to leave, bags in hand, and extreme reactions. No way to discuss anything important. Oh, yeah. Threatening to leave, especially if you have, and I've talked about this before, whatever your vulnerability is, that's what they'll go to. And if you have an abandonment issue at all, which most of us don't want to be abandoned even without an issue, right? But some people are like, whatever, get out if you don't like it. But most of us, especially if we're trauma bonded, the threat to leave, bags in hand, is extreme and it's scary, and it feels like even if they left, even if you want them to leave, it feels like you're never going to get closure. So you want to keep them there to get the closure. It's horrible. Degrading names. They call them pet names and we're too sensitive. Oh yeah. Got those too. Understood. Venusia, hello. Turn every conversation toward them is also a form of silent treatment. Exactly. Because it's silencing you from having any expression of your own, from being able to speak from your own mind. It's all about them. And they totally do that. The look, the facial expression of bless your heart. I'm so sorry. You're crazy. Oh boy. Yeah. Done both in private and public. The simple look, sometimes with eyes rolled, says Mo Cowboy. Know that one too. All these ways they keep us quiet, right? And here's a big one. Because when you're in a narcissistic relationship, we spend so much time trying to smooth the waters. We most of us start to defend the narcissist. Okay, maybe not in a place like this, right, where we're able to speak freely, but to our friends, to our families, to ourselves, we hide the things that they're doing from our own awareness. Does that make sense? So that we can cope with it. And so it silences our doing what we know we need to do, which is get away. It stops us and it keeps us from acting on our own agency, which is a form of silencing. So learning to see them for who they are is a way to help with that. Learning to accept who they are and stop making excuses for their behavior. I don't care if they had a hard childhood. I really don't. Many of us have. I mean, I care about people, of course, but that is no reason to go abusing someone else. Whatever their reasons are, whatever our empathy is telling us and they play to this, okay? They'll play to it. If they're a vulnerable, covert narcissist, they will play to your empathy and therefore silence you from doing or saying what you need to say. I did not tell mine that I knew he was on a dating app for years until the discard because of the silencing. Because I knew if I said anything, number one, there'd be no closure. It wouldn't do anything. I would be gaslit so hard that I would feel like it was my fault for looking when it wasn't actually looking. Someone told me. So I knew the truth, but I knew if I said it, the truth would be twisted. And it was so powerfully, emotionally devastating that I knew I'd fall victim to it. And so it wasn't that I hid per se from it. It just didn't speak about it. And the silencing was huge, right? It's pervasive, the silencing. Okay. So that's a little fun one. Okay. Is there a narcissistic manual they use? It's called Immature, Underdeveloped Emotional Relating. That's what I call it. Okay. What am I missing here? I think I missed some. I'm sorry if I did. Hi, Jen. Let's see. I hit it all and I was thinking I deserve it. Right. And when you start to see it and you start to experience the truth, then the silencing gets a little better within yourself, right? You're able to, if you can't speak it out loud to them, you can at least speak it in places like this or in a support group like SPAN. So he would tell people I was ill rather than say I had been treated for Lyme's. So that when I would say anything, people would think my illness was some kind of mental issue. Oh, love it. And that's like by omission, they can create a whole world, right? And it silences the truth of what's actually happening and it forces some mysterious thing around it. So then, sure, they can plant little seeds to make it so that you look a certain way. Okay. Always trying to keep the peace to avoid the raging. That's right. And then by keeping the peace, what? We're silenced and we're shut down. Not that you need to go yelling and screaming at them, because you know that won't work, right? It won't do anything. So what's the answer, guys? Get away. Get away. What else did they do? I said shaming, right? I did. The word salad. I think I covered it all. Anything else? Any other ways you guys feel silenced by a narcissistic person? We could talk. Oh, they'll bait and then feign ignorance and innocence, bait you into something, and then pretend they didn't, and it throws you off your game, and then it shuts you down. So they push the boundaries. We know this. By pushing boundaries, and sometimes can create a situation where you're saying things. So by making you reactive to them, by making you yell and scream at them, whatever it is you do that you would not normally do in a situation, by making you cross your own line of how you behave toward other people, they have silenced the true you. And they have created a situation where you're just reflecting what they do to you back at them. And the real point of anything you want to say is lost. So you are silenced, okay? I feel silenced by this society that allows narcissists to run rampant. What can you do to have a voice outside of that? That's what I would wonder. It is frustrating. It's in everything. It's in advertising. It's in politics. They're everywhere. So what do we do? How do we have a voice? Let's ask that. How do we have a voice? But partially it's learning your own boundaries, learning to trust yourself, and learning to speak your mind without attacking another person. And they don't need to be attacked. It just needs to be blunt, right? And direct. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Anything else, you guys, about being silenced, or anything else you want to talk about? How can we help with feeling silenced? How do you get your voice back? I didn't write anything about that. Let's just shoot from the hip. How do you get your voice back? So after a discard, after you leave, there's one thing. And while you're in it, or if you have narcissistic parents that you are still in contact with, or whatever your situation is where you still have toxic people around, how do you have a voice? Number one, let's go there first. Don't give them information. You have more of a voice by giving information to people who outside of that relationship than you do within the relationship. So keep your good stuff for the good people in your life. Find good friends. Find people you can trust. Use a therapist, use a coach, whatever it is. Give them your good information. Give people who can reflect back to you positivity, your good information. Don't give it to the narcissist. It's a way they shut you down, and you don't want that part shut down. That's the part you want to keep for yourself. All right. It's not a relationship that will ever be healthy. We have to face it. It can never be healthy with them. So we have to find healthy relationships outside of it in order to, number one, build enough contrast so we can see that there is life away from the narcissist. And number two, give us something of support. So having support in your life is useful. It helps you have a voice. Bella's saying she's been making videos talking to herself about her feelings. Sometimes I cannot write because my hands shake so much. That is really good. Keeping your actual voice for yourself to log what's happening in your life. That's really good. Bye, MD. Hugs to you too. Silenced and ghosted for wanting intimacy. Yep. Because of control. So the whole reason they silence us is to keep control. The whole reason they do everything is to keep control. They have to control because they create the world that they live in, right? They create the delusional world that they live in by making things around them, manipulating the things around them. That's the nature of what they do. So yes, if it's something you want, they're going to silence and ghost you for wanting it. It's awful because it keeps control of you, because now they can hand it out to you when they feel like it, and they know it'll get a reaction. Mine used to mock me because I have a mental illness, say you have to fix your brain. Yep. Well, manage. So I did, and he still discarded me. You know what? He's just a monster. He is a monster. And you know what? Use that to see where you can keep growing in ways to help make your life better. Because it was enough to help you get the help you need to work on your own issues. Okay, great. The result was not good with him or her. You said him, right? Him. But that's a plus, because as you said, he's just a monster. So keep going with the good stuff, even though it was started for the wrong reason, or started not the wrong reason, for a toxic person's benefit. But really now it can be your benefit. Does that make sense? We got to use these situations to improve our lives, not stay stuck, right? All right. Anyway, anything else with how do you guys work on feeling heard? So many people come and say to me and say they don't feel like they have a voice, and they don't trust what they say to be listened to. They don't trust it to be okay. It's not safe to say something in front of another person, things like that. So how do you guys work with that? Could we round up these jerks and put them in a zoo? I know. Who'd feed them though? Yeah. All right. Anything else, you guys? How do you work on being heard? Or do you? Besides, I like what Belle was saying with the video. She videotapes herself and about her feelings. Journaling, if you can, right, is one way. Learning the things that, so a narcissist, one way they silence us is by taking away our ability to even know what it is we like. Why feed them? They can just, because they're humans and we can't do that. All right. Anyway, they take away our knowing the things that we enjoy and we like in life. As you regain those, you regain some of your voice. So go out, even if you're still with a narcissist, even if they're still in your life, find some time away from them and find simple joys in your life to remember who you are. As you remember who you are, hi, Crystal Ann. As you remember who you are, then the silencing can feel a little less like it was described earlier, where it makes your heart race, because you're not stuck in that situation. You're not stuck then because you have yourself. So anything else, you guys? Okay, let's see. All right. Any other ways to feel less silence? Talk to a friend, talk to a therapist, talk to a coach, talk in a support group, get in SPAN and share your story. Listen to other people's stories. Listen to people, right? That helps. Sometimes it's not the abuse we want to be heard about. Sometimes it's just our day, right? We don't want to necessarily only want to be heard about the horrible things in our lives. Sometimes we want to be heard for who we are. So get in group coaching, get in group therapy, something like that, where you have other people to bounce other things around. Get into some social groups that are fun, that are things of interest for yourself. So you have some life of your own where other people can hear you. Oh, there we go. Like clockwork, the children come running in and the dogs bark. So, okay. Bye, Hannah. You're welcome. Oh, so I think I have to end because my children have now need in the house. And I think I locked the door. Not intentionally. They can go around the back, but the dog. And so anything, we're all going to not be silenced now and make a lot of noise. Everybody make a lot of noise and have some fun. All right. So it's good to just enjoy normal conversations. Exactly. If it can be quiet, I'm not going to just walk away. Okay. All right. They have to. I think I'm done. I think I'm being silenced. Okay. I know the idea of it from when I was young. I have autism, but I do know it though. My family is very toxic. I have suffered from depression as a dissociative seizure. Oh, okay. Puppy isn't going to be silenced. Puppy isn't going to be silenced. He's going to make me silenced. Okay. I don't bother engaging. Okay, that's it. All right. You don't bother engaging anymore. You just want to know. I faint. I end. Okay. They got in the house now. Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. It's both of them. Of course. Guess what? Summer's almost over and this won't happen. All right. Sorry. Okay. It's quiet now. They're in the house. It's all good. It's quiet. Okay. We can keep going then. Just get to watch me being silly, right? That's part of the fun. Okay. Anyway, silence. Back to the serious. So, what else do you do to help yourself not feel silenced? Anything. You can afterwards go out and figure out what you like. Start with food. Start with entertainment. Something that's fun, easy, that you got to do anyway. And figure out the things you like. It brings yourself back into self. And it gives you voice within yourself. Order a meal out. Do you know how hard that is when you've been silenced and you've had your food ordered for you for 7 years? To order something that you want you don't even know what you want. It's just words, and their words all represent food, and they're going to totally knock on my door in a second. I hear them. Here they come. You guys, I'm working. Uh-huh. 3, 2, 1. Bang, bang, bang. Woof, woof, woof. Sorry. All right. Book clubs. Yes. Book clubs. Things that aren't personal can be good. Things that are, you can voice. Oh, book clubs are a great idea. Book clubs or a crafting club, something that you create, if you knit, if you sew, if whatever you do, a club for that, because it's, you get to express your opinion about a thing, the book, the thing you're creating, whatever. You get to talk about it with other people, but it's not so personal that it gets involved in your personal life. It's your opinions, it's your thoughts, but everybody wants to hear them in a book club, right? They want to hear, that's why they're there. They want other people's input on the book. Otherwise, they could just read the book by themselves. So that's a perfect way to feel heard. Or you don't even have to talk. You can just listen to other people, listen to them express themselves. That can help you remember how to express yourself in a healthy way. That's a great idea. I like the book clubs. Hey, ESS. Strangers listen to me better than close friends and family. I feel I'm interrupted or cut off a lot, especially by my mother, says Crystal. And you know what? Sometimes that is our truth for a while. And it's finding people that know how to listen. Thing is, a lot of people don't know how to listen. And the more they know you, the easier, not you personally, but know a person, the easier it is to let it slide and not really try to listen. And so I know it can be painful. I totally get that. Active listening is a skill. And so sometimes if we learn to active listen a little better, it can help people in our lives do it back toward us. But they have to be healthy individuals. Trying that with a toxic person ain't going to work. Talking to them about being listened. If it's a healthy enough friend or family member, maybe speaking up, maybe that's a boundary you need to set, like maybe saying, hey, you know what? Can you just listen all the way through? I need to get this out. If it's safe and healthy, I know when my friends can be interrupted and when they can't be, you know what I mean? Because we all do that to each other. We talk through each other. But I know when it's, and there's cues and there's boundaries that they'll say that help me understand where they're at, where they need to be heard. So sometimes we have to tell people what the boundary is. I need to be listened to right now. Can you just listen all the way through? Or wait, let me get to the end of this. It's important. Something like that. If they're not healthy, emotionally evolving human beings, then it's not worth it because they can't listen really anyway. So find people who are. Sometimes it's a matter of finding new friends. That's okay too, because that's an adventure, right? Reading. I love taking photos. Happy movies. Just going for coffee. People watching. Going to garden shop. Oh, see, you got it. Hi, Iraq Freedom. You're having a hard time. What's going on? Hello, Web Education. So, what do you guys who've just joined us? What do you do to help yourselves not feel silenced after having been silenced so long from a narcissist? I would say also, the more you learn to set boundaries with people, actually, that's a great thing. The more you learn to set boundaries with people, it's like having a voice, right? It gives you voice. I used to let them get away with a lot. Now I see it more clearly. My mom always says, stop rehashing. Arg. Oh, yeah, I know that one. Okay. It's actually triggers me now. And it's a way she shuts me down. Right. Uh-huh. You walked in nature yesterday. Good. Iraq Freedom. I have terrible connection. I may need to watch the replay. Still with you, though. Okay. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about with anything really being silenced, or just go at any questions anyone has with their life going on right now, anything that you want for a topic for another day, anything at all? It's open time. Yes, we are sending smiles and hugs, Iraq Freedom, to you. Anything else? Let's see. Just moved back into my building after not being able to get there for 5 months. Essentially a neighbor over 10 years. Older woman who love bombed me and I put boundaries up with. And there's more coming. All right. Katrina, hello. I'm still currently living with the dynamic. I acknowledge what's going on when I can be mindful and not react and process it within myself and note it for my next therapy. That's how you feel less silenced. Is it? It can. So, are you working on a way to get away, or is this something you're? What's your next step? And that's kind of what I was saying. I think of keeping it to yourself instead of arguing back, gray rock them, but have a place to voice it where it matters. Have a place where you can be heard. Sometimes it's only ourself is all we have. And other times we can go to a therapist or a coach or whatever, or a friend and be heard. So she's manipulating the law. And actually, I think she knows cops that are, let's see. She literally lives on the first floor building. I'm trying to skim this here. It's a lot to read out loud. Oh, she got a restraining order and kept you away because, okay, she manipulated a situation. Okay, and Christine's saying, I told her that being listened to through this experience is what I need to feel validated in my experience, even if it seems like rehashing to her. I think that got through a bit. Oh, good. Excellent. And, boundaries, here's the thing about placing boundaries, especially with people who have been in our lives our whole lives or long, long term, is it slowly, slowly, slowly. You can't expect them to get it on the first try. It'd be nice if they could, but often it's a slow, incremental step toward being heard, toward that boundary being acceptable and understood and listened to. Okay. So if it doesn't work the first time, just keep firm with your boundary, polite and kind, and see if you can get it through the second time, and backing off the emotion, just cut and dry. This is my boundary. This is what I need. Remember, I need to be heard. Thank you. And seeing if it works, because it doesn't often change overnight is what I'm saying. Currently working on ways to manage before I can leave. Excellent. And lots of self-care, it sounds like. That's the way, Katrina, because then the trauma bonds are in the process of being broken as you're leaving, and you're doing what you can to build a life before you as you're getting ready to leave. So that's good. Okay. I'm trying to read this all here. Okay. The narc is being kind, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Oh, I'm so sorry. Wish so much of it would last. I truly care about him despite all the abuse. Well, here's, you are allowed to care about him, but you got to care about yourself too. Try to see the good in all. He does help me a lot. Difficult. Right. It's a scary, scary place on the other side of that, Belle. It's a scary place to think of being without the good that they do give. Totally get it. It's difficult, and it's also what keeps us there. We have to know they can't change. There won't be this. The other shoe will drop, and what you're learning is that when something's good in your life, the another shoe is going to drop, which isn't the case. Life ebbs and flows. Things are good and bad. You don't know that something bad's going to happen because something good happens unless you're with someone toxic. Something bad will happen because the other shoe will drop. They can't hold the mask on. The negative behavior will come. The devaluing, the silent treatments, the mini discards, they all come. So, and that won't change. It won't change because that's the way that person is in relationship. That's how the way he relates. So the only thing that can change is you. The only way out is to get out. So the only way to have it so your life isn't always waiting for another shoe to drop is not to have people like that in it. And it's scary. It's very scary. And it's very, it's okay. The beautiful thing is that you can see the good in all. It's also, it's like a Popeye muscle right now. It's totally out of balance. You're using it towards something that the good is there to trap you. The good is the bad. I've said that over and over. The good in a narcissist is part of the bad, because the more good they give, the harder it is to get away. Right? And it's always a setup because the other shoe is going to drop, or it's to make up for something bad. So the good isn't genuine. It's whatever mood they're in. It's to make up for something so that they keep you there. It's to manipulate. Good is manipulation. Anyway, enough of that. I'm trying to read it all, Iraq Freedom, while I'm doing the other thing. Okay. I can't read it all and not be silent. That's why I'm skimming it. I may need to write you a reply in the comment section, the main comment section. Okay. So that I don't just stand here and stare at the reading. I wish we could read into my ear while I'm saying something else, but that really wouldn't get me listening to you either, would it? Yeah, I'm going to read it and then write it in the main comments, not in the live chat. Okay, Iraq Freedom, and see if I have anything to offer there, I will write it. And if anyone else wants to help Freedom there while I'm talking, that would be awesome as well. Hello, Jack. You're moving stuff into another storage. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Sometimes just having this group helps so much because I cannot leave, right? Okay, where are we going here? Svenusha, I had a nightmare after the discard. I was standing in a crowd of people and screaming soundlessly. Nobody could hear me or see me. That's exactly how I felt, invisible. I feel like I've had that same nightmare. I feel like I've heard it too. That's powerful, isn't it? It's a good imagery that of expressing the trauma you lived through. Yep, they never, ever, ever change. Hope is dangerous with these people. It is. And regardless of even if they could, even if the amount of time it would take, the amount of effort it would take, they would actually, I think, need to be in isolation, working without other human beings in order to learn to integrate back. You know what I mean? Like it's so pervasive. It isn't just a mood. It isn't just a thing. It's pervasive in the entire personality and in the entire relationship. So how can it change? It can't. Yes, keep trying to get stronger, keep doing the therapy, keep doing the listening, keep up the self-care, and focus that seeing the good in people back on yourself. That's what I think. And gray rock as much as you possibly can. I don't like all the other stuff I heard at the beginning that is upsetting me, that is what's going on at the same time, Belle. Not that upsetting me is your problem. It upsets me for you is what I mean. Okay. All right. Oh. Does anyone else experience lack of good dreams? Just define that a little more, Angela, because I think bad dreams are good dreams when it comes to healing. Okay. If you learn to interpret your dreams, they can be amazing. I've had people tell me dreams that are really, really stressful to them. And when we go through them, just looking at the symbols of the dream, they realize how powerful they are and how powerful they are becoming in their healing. And it completely changes the mindset of what they saw in the dream. So sometimes that is useful to write them down and talk about them with someone that knows how to read dreams, or do it yourself. They take away the affection they pretend to give. Their energy is horrid. Yes, they do. It is very difficult. Okay, it took me 2 years. So you guys you're in the window. I did it. You can do it. Right? Okay. Katrina and Belle. I mean, I'm speaking to you guys with the 2-year thing. It took 2 years of therapy, understanding, tons of self-care, growing up my boundaries. Everything that I say that I'm talking about from experience, okay? And put it to use if it feels good to you, if it feels right to you, try it. And doing these things step by step, it makes it so much different than getting out when you have had a discard out of nowhere. It's not necessarily easy. It's never going to be easy. It has its own difficulty when you wait. Definitely. So keep up the good self-work. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that ain't never going to happen. No, it's never going to happen. I know what you're talking about. Okay. Only bad dreams. Do you write them down, Angela? If you do, look up the symbols and see what they're telling you. Because sometimes, like say you might have a dream of pulling someone, of being the narcissist taking off in a car, and they've got something valuable of yours and it's terrible and you're chasing after them and you being dragged by the car, but then you reach in and you pull the narcissist out and then you get the thing back. That sounds terrible because it's like drama filled and there's all this action and, it sounds terrible and they're on the ground and you're hurt, blah, blah, blah. But actually what that can mean is that car is about power and control in a dream language and the dream world, according to Jung, right? And power and control. So the narcissist took power and control and they had a valuable thing of yours as well. You went and took it back. So this terrible dream can be interpreted completely differently if you look at the symbols. All right. So try it. It can be very liberating to see the strength you have in your own self through your subconscious. It also can help journaling bad dreams because sometimes our subconscious keeps telling us the same message over and over and over and over that we don't want to look at. And once we look at it, it can move on. I had someone tell me that they started dream journaling and the bad dreams stopped because it was like they were paying attention to themselves instead of hiding and being afraid of the thing that they were seeing. Let's see. I experienced a dream where I went back to my place. The place was gone, except if you, can I do dream interpretations now? Let's do it. The place was gone, except a few things. And there was a padlock that was able to take with me, but I didn't know how to unlock it. So that tells me that, so when you dream of a house is your self, a house is your psyche. It was gone, except a few things. So that tells me that there's just pieces of your psyche that you were only able to see in that moment. And they were locked away from you. And you didn't know how to unlock it. So there's a part of yourself that you're trying to see that you can't get to yet. And so that's interesting, right? I don't know. That's what it says to me. Maybe I'm wrong. You would know better than me. Talking about she revealed herself, but she dragged. Okay, like I said, I'm going to read all of that. because it's long. I can't keep up. You just wake up exhausted. Okay. I'm always trying to explain myself to the narcissist in dreams. He is always laughing at me or completely ignoring me and with another woman, kind of like real life, I guess. Yeah, sometimes that is just it. It's just reliving the trauma. And yeah, I would have to hear more details to have more to say on that one, because sometimes it is just reliving of the trauma, and it's maybe a place to this kind of goes back to the topic today, being ignored and being heard, maybe finding other places in your life to be heard, getting closure around that piece through actually being heard somewhere else in your life. Does that make sense? Do you sing? Do you talk? Can you public speak? Oh my gosh, doing a public speaking thing. Like, what is that group? It's not Toastmasters, is it? Where they public speak? I wouldn't like doing it because I hate public speaking. Ha, ha, ha. Here I am. But, getting your voice out there in a non-personal way, might be where you're just speaking or singing or something like that might be good, just to get your voice heard. And then relate it back to that dream and see, I don't know, just an idea. Okay, what am I missing here? Katrina's saying, thank you. It feels fake. I know it's been fake all along, the relationship, but I now need to pretend. Yep. You totally hated it. You live in a fake world. You always have. But now you know. And so now you have to be part of the fake world. It's awful. Okay. So have lots of reality in your personal life. So your personal life is not that. That is your life you have to maintain. You're maintaining it in order to get to the end game, which is to leave when you're able to. So lots of good, real stuff in the rest of your life. Take art classes, dance class, anything you love, anything, go do it if you can. Okay. If you can, if it's even in tiny ways, take a walk, find reality so that you know where the difference between reality and the fake world. I mean, you know it, but the more we live it, it's awful. It's always a fake world with them because we're either being manipulated or we have to allow them to be who they are and pretend. There isn't a real relationship, right? So it's awful. So as much reality as you can in the rest of your world, I think the better. Gives you some grounding, right? Okay. You like I love dream interpretations, don't you? Grace she loves them too. Listening all the things I could not do during the relationship and then doing them now. That allows me to not feel silenced. Oh, I like that. That's good. That's Web Education said that. Yes, gentle. Be gentle on yourself, all of you, right? Suzanne is saying, most of my dreams are about narcissists, about the narcissist since he's gone, is me trying to rescue him. Ooh, yeah. Last night it was weird. So I like that. I get excited with dreams. I'm sorry. Last night was weird. It was expose tense and him holding on to me like a spider and not letting go. Odd. What parts of you feel like you can't get rid of him? To me, that sounds like there's something in you that you need to let go of that has to do with the narcissist, or has to do with the abuse, or has to do with why you were, we all have something that hooks us back to them. Our vulnerabilities play to, it's like if we're codependent, of course, a narcissist is like the perfect fit, right? Because they take, we give. The more we give, the more they take. So what is it in you that is sticky like that spider, right? Not you're the one doing something wrong, but what about you? What can't you let go of? right? And what belief do you have that you're not letting go of? That's what I would look at with that. That's a good one. I know I hate when I can't remember my dreams either. Let's see. The Dale Carnegie was for you. I missed it, Belle. Oh, here we go. I try to keep a list of all the nasty things so when it is over, I can look back and make recordings. Yes, good. Let's see. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I'm going to end in just a moment here, even though it's quiet and there's no dogs barking. Okay. All right. Anything else today? Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow. Do something. I have a list. It's somewhere. It's written down. What we were just talking about. Well, possibly black sheep. Black sheep. Black sheep. Scapegoating it. Oh, that's good. Black sheep and scapegoating. Maybe tomorrow. I have to get my head around it before I do it because that takes a little more thought. Hi, Scorp. You're welcome, you guys. A topic on gifts and how they also give your gifts away. Okay. Write it down. Gifts. All right. All right. You're welcome, Belle. You take care, you guys. If you have not subscribed, hit subscribe. If you'd like, get notifications. I think there's a notification button as well. But you can also, if you would like text notifications, message me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, LISELIVE, and I will send only the text stating when I'm coming on about 10 minutes before I'm coming on and no other text to you. So that is it. If you enjoyed this topic or these videos, please hit the thumbs up. And that's it. You guys, E-Rock, I'm going to read that when I have a moment later and try and put it in the main comments to you. And that's it. You guys take care. You have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow, okay? Good night. Goodbye.